in the city. And we're firstly really excited to be a part of this commission with such fantastic organizations. But I'm primarily not going to speak about Fierce, but my role as a commission member. But first, want to get a sense of who's in the room. We like to do this at Fierce. So raise your hand if you're an LGBTQ youth. Raise your hand if you used to be an LGBTQ youth. Yes, love it. Raise your hand if you're an advocate on behalf of LGBTQ youth. I want to thank you all for being here today. It's really important as a part of this process in the commission that we're really hearing our voices. The voices particularly of LGBTQ youth are essential for this process. And as Anna said, there are a lot of experts in the room, but I specifically want to speak to the experts that are LGBTQ youth. I see my role as a commission member is specifically to hear your concerns, what are the issues you are facing, and what are the best solutions to your problems, because you are experts and that should be considered in this process.
While under the perspective that my parents actually loved me and would accept me no matter whoever I may be, I unfortunately came out and was kicked out. I was left out in the wilderness of New York with no family or friends to turn to. I had no one. Not even my school's guidance counselor or principal tried to help me find a place to go. Through their eyes, I was just another insubordinate teenager trying to rebel against all possible authority, so they didn't really consider me a human being worthy enough of help. Whoever I went to looked at me in disgust. They couldn't stand to see the sight of yet another hopeless, homeless homosexual. To them, I was just another typical youth experimenting without knowing the trials I would soon face. The point is, I didn't want to face those trials. I didn't want to fight those battles, but I had a future planned, so I did whatever was possible just to survive. Luckily, I found someone willing to actually help me. Turned down by everyone else, of course, I took that offer with no matter the cost. I received shelter, food, and clothing in exchange for sex. Even though I got all the essentials I needed, I wasn't happy about the way I obtained it, and still I'm mentally traumatized about that experience. I needed to work secretly and illegally on the streets to stay off of the streets. The last thing I wanted to do in my life was to turn to sex work and drug dealing to survive, but I had to. There are many more youths out there on the streets today that share my same story or a tale very similar to this. Kicked out and harshly neglected, abused and run away, or discriminated and daily bashed. LGBTQ youths need a safe place to unite. The pier is said to be a safe place to hang out for youths, yet we are still being harassed even by authority officials. If there's an actual foundation built on the pier, youths will feel more welcome and receive the resources they need at a place they are already familiar with. That is why it is best to have a center on the pier. Us youths are the future. We don't deserve to suffer. We deserve to be safe.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So my name is Rudy, and I'm here today to speak on behalf of another member who was unable to make it. So I'll be reading his testimony for you here today. Hi, my name is Simba, and I'm an LGBTQ youth, here in support of other LGBTQ youth who identify as homeless. I'm also a member of Fierce. Based on latest research, nearly 40% of New York's homeless youth population is LGBTQ identified. One of the reasons that youth become homeless is because our parents don't agree with who we are and choose to dispose of the issue by kicking out the youth. Some youth run away because we just don't want to deal with the abuse we go through in our households. I heard from a youth and friends who are homeless because they had to escape rape by family members or relatives who try to quote-unquote keep the gay out of them with bats, cords, fists, and basically anything in the household. So they turn to the streets because there is no other form of support they can turn to. While on the streets, youth adapt to survival skills. We often feel we run out of support or are scared to reach out for help. We also experience poverty where they can't afford basic human needs and nutrition, healthcare, clothing, and shelter. We also experience loneliness and trauma, rape, police violence, and harassment. We are not able to access education for those who want to make a difference in their life. Not able to obtain a job. I've known people who have become emotionally and physically isolated to the point where it is hard for them to trust people who can really help. The reason why Fierce is so involved in this issue and the Our Spot campaign, which stands for Safe Place to Organize Together, or a 24-hour youth drop-in center is because of the lack of LGBTQ support services for youth and even fewer that are youth-led. Over the past year, the city has cut funding for these services during a time when our community needs it the most. The Christopher Street Pier is the home to many LGBTQ youth. It's a space to feel safe and free and to be ourselves without question, where we can have fun and live our life and feel comfortable about who we are. We need a space where we know we will be safe and taken care of without question, and where we feel like home. The pier has provided that for us. There should be a center built near the pier, such as Pier 40, because it's where most, if not all, the LGBTQ youth hang out, meet other youth, comfort each other, and live our lives without fear. It's where we feel safe and loved by one another, and we call it our home. Think about a place where you feel safe in your mind and go there now. Think about what it means for you to go where you feel safe and have the support you want and need. That's what the piers are to us. A safe place where we support each other, and a place where we should be able to have our needs met. As a youth, we have grown into young adults, and now going into adulthood, I relate to the struggles of my peers. We know what's best for each other. We need each other. Your help, your support, and everyone's love. We don't want to sit here and throw our lives away because we have no choice or because society disagrees with who we are. We want to build a better future for ourselves. I just want to ask you that you work with us and give us your support that we need and do just that.
A 24-hour youth center to where people, where they don't have anywhere to go, they'll be able to go there, possibly sleep if they need to, take, do whatever they need to do to get it together for the next day. So my experiences have been, I've had to sleep on trains, I've been put out of one program, had to go to another program, have to wait, Lord only knows how long. I was put out of one shelter, had to go into DHS, was there for about 4 months before I can even get into the next one. During that time, people were trying to, have relations with me, try and rape me and stuff like that. That's, absolutely not cool. There's no really safe place for us to go that allows us to feel comfortable at. There's a lot of things that people, even on the streets, we get picked on, we get harassed, police are harassing us. And these are not just my experiences, these are other experiences that I've heard about from other people that I do know who are LGBT youth as well. My parents put me out at the age of 21 when they found out that I was gay, upstate New York, in Poughkeepsie. I wound up staying there for a while, went down to Yonkers, got beat up in Yonkers for being gay. Then came down here. It's a little bit better for me here versus other places that I've been to, but at the same time, there's not that many options for me to go through or anyone else to go through.